Hey, I'm Coach Boyle, the head women's basketball coach at VCU, and you are watching LegacyMaker Sports Network.
What's going on here? I am Lamonte Thomas with LegacyMaker Sports Network. I am here at A10 Media Day for Women's Hoops. It's an exciting time. We're here in the Henrico Sports and Events Center for Media Day. We have the VCU Rams here with us. We got Coach Beth Boyle. Man, we're having a good time. We got Mykel Parham. All right. You're the leader now. All right. So we'll start with you first. All right. Grad student. I know we didn't actually finish the way we wanted last year, but and even this year, we're the polls say that you're going to be 10th. We don't pay too much attention to that, but let's talk about your growth in this program. You came over from Creighton, and now you're the head honcho. Now you're the leader, right? So talk about what you bring to this team and how you get the best out of your teammates.
So I don't take my role lightly at all on this team. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be able to help lead my teammates, but they lead me just as much as I lead them. The value I have learned in listening to them, I have grown as a young woman myself in that. And what I'm able to get out of them, giving their 100% every single day, because they know that's what they will get from me every day. At all times, I'm going to go 100%. And so being able to establish that standard, along with the other captains on the team, Samantha Robinson and Grace Hudson, we have been able to really establish this solid foundation and positive culture that makes VCU basketball exciting. It makes it fun, makes it welcoming, and just an all-out, gritty environment. We get after it every day.
Absolutely.
And that's the standard.
All right, absolutely. Now, you talked a little bit about the other leaders on this team, and I kind of want to talk to you about, your era here at VCU. You've been through a lot of ups and downs. What do you want? What would you say you would want the legacy to be? At the end, when it's all said and done and you're hanging it up, what would you like for people to say about, the Parham era here at VCU?
I think one of the biggest things is continuing on with the VCU legacy that Coach OB has established of being an all-out gritty defensive team. I'm a very big on defense player, and so I think defense wins games, hands down.
Absolutely.
And so being able to say that I was a part of that and I made my impact on the rebounding front, I think that's where my legacy will come out, but that doesn't happen without my teammates. That doesn't happen without our team defense that we've established, that we switch up whatever it is. And so being able to get after it on defense, I think, is where that legacy will come from.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, your roster, from top to bottom. What makes you excited about, in the preseason and the off season? What are you excited about what you're seeing from your teammates, and who has surprised you?
What is most exciting is how deep we are. We have all these different lineups that we can do. We have people that can score all over the floor. We can score in transition, off the bounce, from the three-point line, inside out. And so it has been so fun playing basketball because it's like, all right, this shot's not falling. Let's give somebody else their best shot. And that opportunity and that option is always there. And so honestly, all of our new girls have really surprised me. They have come in with so much ambition that I could only hope for, and they have exceeded my standards. And so it's very exciting to have them around. I would also say our sophomores this year, Mariana and Tamaya and Dennis, coming off a redshirt season, all had to step into roles as freshmen, and I have just seen them just grow and expand as sophomores, and they're really growing into themselves off the court, and I've seen that on the court. They're so much more confident, and they have this swagger to them, but it's matured swagger,
right? And
it's so cool seeing that. As a fifth year, I've been through this a little bit, and so I love seeing that out of them.
Okay, all right. Now I want to ask you guys both about this off-season trip that you guys have, or I would say the overseas trip, and what's that done for the team chemistry, and how was the experience? And that's a question for both of you guys.
first?
Yeah, I can go first. I think it helped greatly with our off-court chemistry. Being able to see parts of the world that we would have not normally been able to see. I was telling somebody earlier, there was a moment when we were paddleboarding in Croatia, and we're like, wow, we're in the middle of the sea right now because we're good at playing basketball.
Right.
Wow, what an opportunity. Like, it was just like, how awesome and how grateful are we to be here. And it was so surreal. And that energy transferred onto the court. We were able to play good basketball with refs and live basketball over the summer, which you don't normally get to do. And so now we figured out those kinks way early on in the summer. So that has only helped us now as we're approaching our first game.
Nice. We're going to move on to the second all-time winningest VCU coach right here, Coach Boyle.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. We love to have you. And go ahead and talk about that, that overseas experience for you and how it was in Croatia.
Yeah, just, kind of, echoing again what Mykel said, you get the chance to go to Italy and Slovenia and Croatia, and you're just, these moments off the court. When we really talk about you want to build genuine relationships with your teammates and your coaches, it's the time that you get to spend. But then how does it feel when you're doing it? And, we just, I don't know, pizza making, I'm the worst cook on staff, so it was fun to be in the kitchen with these guys. And then, we were in some caves and, just some craziness there. And it just was, I think, what a phenomenal opportunity for us to really be together. And just so, grateful and fortunate that VCU supports us that way. And then, you're just seeing those relationships just expand and grow, and then come back onto the court. And now they're like, that's my friend that was holding my hand while we were climbing down the steps in the middle of a cave in Slovenia. She's got me on this back screen. So, it was a lot of fun, and I had a great time with them.
Yeah, it was definitely encapsulating to follow you guys for sure. I'll say that. Let's talk a little bit about the mentality this year, right? So what's the motto going into this year? Like, what do you guys? Is there a slogan that you guys have, or something that you say? She talked about the sophomores with the swagger. Like, what is it that gets you guys going these days? Like, what's the motto for the year?
I think there's, a little bit of, we're now looked a little bit more like the underdog, right? And you look, at the poll, and you look at the motivation of that is like, okay, you can start unknown, but, we want to finish unforgettable. And so we've got to make sure that every day that we're coming in to get better, and that we're looking at every game that, hey, we're going to come after you, and you're going to have to play against VCU basketball. And I think as you bring in new players and we get healthy players back and confidence grows, we've seen a big shift in that already. And then also, hey, we came off a really difficult season. There's a lot of adversity there that sometimes can break teams, can break programs, and that was not our response. Our response was everybody's back, everybody's in this, and now that we're back, what are we going to do with it?
Right.
And so I'm really excited, about their leadership that we have this year, and I think Mykel mentioned it. We have a good group that is really committed to each other.
Okay. And make no mistake about it, okay, this is a winning program. I mean, since you've been here, you're 138 and 106, 74 and 51 within the conference, right? You brought this team that it's only A-10 championship in history. So, I mean, I try not to be impartial, but I'm a VCU alum. So, you can throw that out the window. So I'm going to tell you right now, this team comes, and they come to play every time. They bring it, and you guys have that. You got to have that havoc, type of, mentality, both men's and women's program. People know when they come in the stew that, it's going to be a long day. Like, you guys are going to have to work for everything you get, right? So I appreciate you guys, and talk about, like, that defensive mentality, how important it is to establish that.
Yeah, you look at, what Mykel said too. Like, we really think that we can set the tempo, we can disrupt rhythm, and that we can dictate where teams are going to get their shot from. And then you have great rebounders that have an incredible passion that I don't think there's anyone that rebounds in the league like Mykel. We go against guys every day, our practice squad, and they're trying to get into our legs and fouling her. And I think it's that mentality is, hey, it's one and done, and then we're gonna go. And whether it's havoc, whether it's tempo, whether it's pace, we want to establish that, because that's our work ethic. That's how we want to play the game. And yes, there's nothing better than playing in the stew with the Peppas and that black and gold and some Nikes, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about where we are. So this Henrico Sports and Events Arena, you guys actually have a home game in here versus Delaware, I think December 11th. Talk a little bit about what this place means. The tournament will be here this year. What this means for the exposure of women's basketball, women's sports, right? Like I know that I'm excited about giving you guys the exposure and the coverage that you guys deserve, and what this means to do this right here at home for you guys.
Just look at what women's sports has done in the last couple of months. You got 100,000 people at a volleyball game in Nebraska. You got 55,000 people at a game, watching Iowa. And now we get the opportunity here in Richmond to say, hey, look at where women's sports are. Look at what women's hoops can do here. So we can't wait. I think playing here and playing against Delaware on the 11th, it just gives us a head start to what it's going to be like in March when we're here. And that we want to go after cutting down those nets, and we get to play on the court that is going to happen. And then we hope we can get, everybody from Richmond here supporting us, cheering us on. It's not as far away as Brooklyn, so come right down the road, come up Broad Street, and get after it for us, because we want to create something special here in Richmond.
Absolutely, I know Evan's excited. We talked to him about not having to go to Brooklyn, not have to travel. And speaking of that, I'm putting you on the spot because we've got so many shots. We've covered you guys for years now. We've got so many shots of you. And there's this one thing you always do in game, and you get down and you have this Zen moment, right? I'm gonna nickname it right now. We're gonna call it the Boyle bend, right? She does it, and everybody's looking. And I've heard so many people, and Evan said, what, my back would kill me if I had to do that for an entire game. What are you thinking in those moments? And what are you capturing her in? Because like I said, it's like a Zen moment for you. We kind of just want to know what's going on there in that moment.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's a lot easier to squat in Nikes than it was in my heels. So thank God, because I'm getting a little bit up there. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like when I'm down there, I'm in it with the players. I'm right there in the court. I can see everything. And definitely a little intensity comes out. For sure, but I'm glad you got a lot of pictures of those. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, Lamont, but we'll take it as it is.
It's definitely a moment, right? And we can appreciate it. And again, we love to cover you guys. We're glad that you guys got to come on with us, and we appreciate you guys so much. We wish you the best this season. So there it is for Mykel Parham and Coach Beth Boyle of VCU Women's Basketball. I'm Lamont Thomas with LegacyMaker Sports Network. We appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. We have a lot of coverage coming for you.